I was talking to him actually yesterday at the meetup about this, and it's the first time I said it out loud. I was like, "Wow, that sounds, I don't know, kind of arrogant or sounded kind of weird." But I said when I was a kid, I knew I was going to do something special, and I thought it was winning the lotto. And it's not even. I mean, you're more than welcome to say thank you for your service, but it's not even that too. I've learned guys rolling down your window and saying, "Hey, brother, how you doing today? Have a good day." I promise you guys, it goes a long way.
From the bottom of my heart, though, I appreciate you servicing this company. I have another attachment to it. My brother joined in 2006. He went through boot camp and he was actually killed in action in
Wow,
October 4th, 2006. So
I'm
the
sorry. Yeah.
veterans. Hello and welcome to Dream Start On. I'm Edgar the Connector, your host, and today we have Brian Madsen. Welcome, dude. Thank you for coming to my podcast.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm humbled for you allowing me to be here and speak with you.
Oh, it's I've been trying to get you on for a bit, man. You're doing some wonderful things, and it's very noble of you, man. I appreciate you taking the time to spread out what you're doing, and you can probably be very humble about it. But dude, if you got to brag a little bit, do it. Don't be ashamed about it, dude. You're doing some
No,
wonderful things.
not at all. Yeah, we'll definitely get into it a little bit. But
So, Dream, what are you doing these days? So right now you're in real estate, but what is it that you're mainly focused on?
right now, the dream here is to end homelessness, guys. But more importantly, to end homelessness for veterans, guys. These guys have served our countries. That they've gave it all, and they come back and they're forgotten. Bottom line, they say, "Hey, thanks for your service." It's crazy because in a lot of other countries, when you go serve their country, I mean, it's. I was talking with my partners, he because his wife is actually Chinese, and they've got quite a few people in the family that serve the country, and those guys, they literally buy them property when they get out. They take care of them. They have medical. They have money. They give them everything. And I'm not saying, you know what I mean, that we should do that for every single person. That would be um, a huge budget problem for every person that serves in the U.S. But I mean, we forget about them. Bottom line. So our big dream here is to end veteran homelessness because that is something that is, I think, very attainable. And tying back into the real estate space, it all starts with a place that you can afford to lay your head at night and call home.
Very noble cause. You were in the service, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I was in the Marine Corps. I joined the Marine Corps in 2004. We can go for hours on my story, but I was a young punk, but I was smart enough to know that I needed to get off the street, and so I thought I'd go chill in the Marine Corps for 4 more years while I kind of figured out what to do with my life. And that was in 2000, and right after that, 9/11 happened, and there I was off to war. So there was no relaxing, just chilling, figuring out what to do with my life. It was um, figuring out how to get home in one piece and get back to my family. So, like I said, that's a real long story, but um, yeah, I'm a veteran. I'm a disabled veteran, and it's like I said, dealing even the services that we do offer. There are stuff. There are programs. There is funding. There's medical. There are different things that we do here for our veterans, but they make it extremely hard if you don't know. There's a lot of problems that you programs. I'm sorry, that people don't even know about. And the basic stuff that we all do know about. You know, I mean, VA medical, VA housing loans, stuff like that. They make it so hard and difficult for people to actually use those to their benefit. People just give up. I mean, when I got out, I started dealing with the VA for a little bit, and I just gave up, and I didn't go back for 14 years because they made it so difficult. Instead of saying, "Hey, thank you for our service. Let's make sure these guys are taken care of." It is a circus. It's the runaround. They're understaffed. You make an appointment, and okay, we'll see you in 3 months. Well, in 3 months, I'm not going to be sick anymore. I'm sure. I'll figure it out some other way. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. That's just scratching the surface. There's so many problems, but they make it so difficult to take care of the basic necessities that they give. People just don't even want to deal with it. But
Yeah, I
We're
completely
heading on the VA
understand.
here. That's the wrong way to go. I mean, but I
I
don't want
know.
to
I
spend
mean,
too much time.
it's good to speak it. A lot of people don't know about it. We had Paul Rodriguez on here recently, and
Yeah,
he was talking about 988, that call line for veterans to call if they need just about anything.
yeah,
And then that he was fortunate enough that somebody, when he was in service, told them to document everything they need to do. So somebody might not watch his episode. Somebody might watch your episode. What should somebody document when they are in service to help make sure that to help them be taken care of a little bit better when they do
absolutely.
leave?
Anything and everything. I mean, everything, medical, dental, interactions, even with anybody and everybody. Because when you go do to take care of those benefits down the road, there's a lot of stuff that they ask for, and the more documentation you have, the easier it is. Because exactly when I got out in 2004, nobody was telling me this. Well, prior to getting out, and then when I got out again, there's not many people there at the VA that want to help you. Most of them, unfortunately, are there just to collect their 9 to 5 paycheck. And don't get me wrong, there is some people at the VA care, but they're few and far between. So, no, absolutely, you want to document anything and everything you possibly can. Everything you sign, medical records, take a copy, everything you can do, because even they say, oh, everything's digital now and whatnot. Well, good luck getting it after the fact. Like I said, because nobody there wants to work for you or wants to help for the most part. So no, absolutely document everything. Paul's right. Yeah, I've had a lot of conversations with him about that. Because like I said, I didn't have anybody, and like I said, to tell me any of that. And like I said, I got so discouraged that I didn't deal with him for 14 years. So,
Yeah, a lot of
absolutely.
people looking outside in, they hear about the benefits, VA loans, the GI Bill, the health service afterwards, but they don't realize that you have to meet so many certain things to qualify for that.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, exactly in and out. There's so many hoops to jump through. It's incredible.
Yeah. So you said you reenlisted in 2004 till 2008.
No, 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 no. I got
Oh,
out in
okay.
2004.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I got
I
out
thought
in
you were.
2004. And luckily, I was able to get out. They were actually stop lossing a lot of people still at that time, which stop lossing is basically if you have an MOS, or that's our job basically. Some of them, if there wasn't many people in that job, a lot of people they weren't even letting them get out. Luckily, I was a mechanic. I was a diesel mechanic. So I was able, luckily, to get out at that point. But there was a lot of people that actually weren't even able to get out at that point. So got out in 2004. Um, was lost. You know what I mean? I went to war and came back even more lost than when I before I went, as that kid is graduating high school. Um, got myself into trouble at that point and actually ended up in prison.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a whole nother story. Like I
Hey,
said, we can go on and on and on.
yeah, man. Like I said, we're here for it. I'm here for it till as long as we need to go, man. As long as you're willing to share the story and you think it's going to help somebody else, let's put it out there.
Yeah,
But from the bottom of my heart, I know a lot of people say this, but a lot of people may not mean it, or they just say it because they just say it. Look, from the bottom of my heart, though, I appreciate you servicing this company. I have another attachment to it. My brother joined in 2006. He went through boot camp and he was actually killed in action in
wow.
October 4th, 2006. So
I'm
the
sorry. Yeah,
veterans,
that's
thank you. Um, so just people that gave their life to the government, I understand.
yeah. Exactly. I'm speechless at that point. Even you know what I mean. Exactly. There's that's part of the things that I tell people is, you know what, thank God I got to come home, but this is exactly the reason, you know what I mean? And I didn't even know that. And thank you for sharing that with me, Edgar, because um this is exactly why we do what we do, because a lot of people didn't get to come home.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to come home, on my arms, on my legs, on my limbs attached, my head on straight for the most part. Um, but there's a lot of guys, like you said, your brother. I gave some, your brother gave it all. There's a lot of other guys that came back in the middle of that where they gave a lot more than me, and they're not all there. They have major issues, PTSD and all kinds of other stuff. Um, and that's a lot of reasons that these guys end up on the street and like that. And we drive by. I had my fractional call the other day, and I was telling the story, and just I asked her, but you know what? When's the last time you saw somebody standing on the side of the road? When you saw a guy saying, "Hey, I'm a homeless veteran. Um, I need help," all the time, and we all see it. We all see that. Everybody's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," all the time. Exactly. But I said, when's the last time you sat back and thought, "Man, I wonder what this guy's going through. Why this guy served this country and now he's sitting here on the side of the road. You know what I mean? It's raining, it's hot, it's cold, whatever it is, starving after y'all, but wondering why and stopping and talk to them. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty. 10 years ago, like I said, I was just angry and whatnot at the world, and I would drive by and just be like, man, like get your shit together.
Yeah.
Until I realized, well, man, like I don't have my shit together, and my PTSD, my issues aren't nearly as bad as theirs, and I don't even have all my shit together. So who am I to drive by these guys and forget about them and say, get your shit together and go figure it out? Um, so it really changed my mindset there. And like I said, this is why we do this now, because exactly we don't know who went through what, who gave some, who gave all, um, why they're in the position they're in. But bottom line, they signed up to serve this country, so that's the least that we can do to give back to them. It is again tied into our business of real estate, is give them that first step, which is somewhere to lay their head at night, to take a shower so they can go to that appointment, get that mental health help that they need, so they can go to that interview clean cut and taking a shower, well rested. Because it's became unaffordable for a lot of people, unattainable. Um,
Yeah.
One, because obviously of all the mental issues and whatnot, but two, because of prices and all that stuff. So that's why we've kind of took the two and intertwined them with, okay, how can we help solve this problem? I mean, it, housing is not the only problem by any means, and there's a lot more services with the agencies that we work with that provide services for them. But it's really the start of the essentials. How can you
Yeah.
put your life back together when you're sleeping on the sidewalk, when you're begging on the street corner, when that's what you have to do to get by? How can you start to put your life back together? So I
Definitely.
believe it really starts with that core, with that foundation, that place again, to lay your head at night, to take a hot shower and get a good night's sleep before that interview or before that appointment, whatever it is. That's really where it starts. So that's why we're on that mission. One veteran at a time, one bed at a time, one property at a time, to end it.
It's
So
very, very good reason, very good thought process on it too. And for those people that think that, okay, but there's a lot of veterans, you can't change the world. You kind of can, not by changing the entire world, but if you do one thing for one veteran, you're changing their world. If you
absolutely,
look at
I
it
love
that
that.
way, yeah.
Yep.
If you look at it that way, you are changing the world. It might not be the whole world; it's their world.
There, absolutely. No, exactly. But and we say homelessness as a whole, but down in that veteran niche, I truly believe it is a 100% problem that
Preventable.
it can 100% be solved. It's a problem that absolutely we can solve it via affordable housing, via whether it's co-living, because not everybody needs a whole house. A lot of these guys, it actually works well in the space because it gives them some of that camaraderie back, that they
Yeah,
have their brothers there, they have that family, because a lot of these guys have nothing too. So, in that space, we're right, we can't change the world, but we damn well can make sure that guys that serve this country aren't sleeping on the streets, and we can give them a place, you know what I mean, again, to lay their head at night, whether it's a co-living property, a one-bedroom apartment, a three-bedroom house for them and their family, whatever it is, it is absolutely achievable that we can solve that problem. There's no reason um, that our veterans should be sleeping on the street.
100%, man. Agree. One thing I was guilty of, and I'm getting over with the help of Chino Monte, is he put something in me. Shout out Chino.
Absolutely.
I asked him
Helped me a ton.
when I first met him. Asked him, Pace tells him ask how you can help him out, and he said what he wanted me to help him out with was provide a homeless person, to somebody in the corner asking for money, a bottle of water and a sandwich. And then I go, well, one reason I don't do it is because I've been being scammed, and you don't know who that is. He goes, you don't judge them. You don't decide that. Just give it to them, and then they're going to be judged later on. And I was like, good point. So that
Absolutely.
right
That's what
there,
I was saying. I used to drive by 10 years ago, and I was like exactly the same thing. I don't know who of these guys is lying. Is he a veteran? There's benefits out there for him. Why isn't he using them? Meanwhile, I was that guy there not using the benefits. Granted, I wasn't homeless, but I wasn't using the benefits that were afforded to me. But I was, again, exactly. I don't know if this guy's a homeless veteran or he's just full of BS trying to use the vet card
all right.
to exactly get a free buck. So no, I was right there with you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you listen to this, if you see them, if a bottle of water, sandwich, that doesn't cost you much at all.
Guys, and a lot of times I'm driving by and I'm looking exactly the same thing. I'm looking in my car. I don't have any cash. I don't have any bottled waters. I don't have any food. I don't have any with me. And I scramble, but I've learned, guys, rolling down your window and saying, "Hey, brother, how you doing today? Have a good day." I promise you guys, it goes a long ways. It goes a long ways, guys. These guys are humans just like us. They need that interaction. And it's not even, I mean, you're more than welcome to say thank you for your service, but it's not even that too. Just saying, hey, have a great day and smile. It goes a long ways, guys. Some of these guys, they don't need much to make them feel better, to brighten up their day. And if that's all we can do is roll down our window and say, hey, have a good day. How you doing? Whatever it is, it goes a long way. It really does.
Well said. Good point. Things they said, just that one smile and being courteous can change that person's world for that day.
Yep.
Just continue with the positivity. Okay, so what is it that you're doing with housing the veterans?
So we work with agencies, we work with the VA, the social workers directly. Depending on the veteran where they're at in their process, we also deal with other agencies like Salvation Army, companies like that have emergency funding for these guys. So the ones that are already on the street, we're able to take them off the street via supportive services for veterans families funding that agencies like the Salvation Army, they have those funds granted from the government. So we're literally able to take these guys off the street, and whether it's a co-living property that we place them in or an individual studio, we partner with Louisville on a couple of properties of his as well. So we're placing veterans in some of his apartments as well. But we're able to literally take these guys off the street overnight. They were sleeping on the street. We're able to put them in a property, again, that where they can take a shower and they can start to get their benefits and their paperwork all in order on that emergency funding. And then we work with them along with the services from these other agencies to get all their stuff in order. If it's someone that's employable, they work with them to, obviously, on interview skills, on clothing, on getting jobs, on working with veteran friendly employers, all of that. So we're doing that via co-living properties, small multifamily, and we're now actually developing container homes where we can take these guys and place them immediately, but it also qualifies for when they switch over to permanent housing or like a HUD-VASH voucher. They don't have to move. They don't have to get up and move again. They can stay there. So we're also developing those right now. We're actually raising funds on a 9-unit project right now. that we're working on here in Houston, where it's 9 studios that we're building out. It's a container project. We've already acquired it. Um, and again, that'll be permanent housing. We'll be able to take them off the street immediately, put them in that while they're on SSVF or emergency funding. It qualifies, but then also once they switch over to their permanent funding, it's already qualified. It's HUD compliant, so they don't have to move, they don't have to go anywhere. It's a permanent place for them to call home. So we're super excited, and that's we talked briefly about it, but that's our bigger vision. We've gone with the partnerships and that we've created over the last year. We've gone from our goal of 64 units over the next 5 years. We're actually, with the affordable housing and these containers now, we're actually have projections to do 4,900 units over the next 5 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's a fantastic goal. And it's
Yep.
not just a goal, it's sort of a possibility. It's in sight.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. When you're housing veterans, are they, do they have their own room, or do they share rooms when they first get in there?
So all of them at least have their own room. So even in our co-living properties, they're all single room. They call it SRO, or single room occupancy.
Okay.
A lot of people are with the co-living model or pad split, so they have their own individual room. But they share the kitchen, they share the laundry facilities, the living rooms, the bathrooms, stuff like that. Now, with the developments that we're doing with the container homes, those are all individual units. So it's starts with studios down to 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms, but at a minimum, and even in the studio, they're going to have their own kitchen, their own bathroom, and then their own bed space.
How many are you housing people currently?
Yeah, we currently have 106 doors right now.
Wow, and they're
Like I
all
said,
veterans.
we're
And
looking.
he's
They're not all veterans. We
okay.
do so. Veterans is my where my heart, my main focus. But we working with these agencies, we actually house a lot of different people that are in need. So we have young adults aging out of the foster system. We have elderly people that need affordable housing. They're on Social Security, and the rest of their families have passed away or whatnot. So they go to these agencies for help. So we house the elderly. We house felons re-entering when they're getting out of prison.
Right.
So we have very very low barrier of entries, because again, it's people need a second chance. Bottom line, whether they're coming back from war, from serving our country, or they've made a mistake, or again their families passed away, whatever it is. There's no reason, again, that people should be sleeping on the street.
Yeah, I completely agree. Actually, I have a sober living house in Pasadena, right outside of Houston, and I house 11 people. I have an operator there, and I'm part of the
Right.
WhatsApp group. I don't manage day to day, but I hear them how appreciative they are of having a nice roof under their head, a house that's been clean, and they're Bible based in the situation, and
Love
it's
it.
just a good feeling when they say, "Hey, I'm leaving the house because I've recovered. I've got my monthly coins, my yearly coin to hit their goal, and they're moving on to improve." So that's a good feeling just to hear that from there.
Absolutely. That's, call it selfish or whatnot, but that's what I live for now. Because I mean, I've been in the investing space for 8 years, and when I first started, it was just chasing a dollar, chasing the next dollar, the next deal. But I realized, okay, the deals are coming, the dollars are coming, but my happiness wasn't coming. There was no reason behind it. I thought more money was going to bring me that happiness, and I realized it wasn't. I was just, again, chasing the next deal or the next dollar, because that's what I knew. So that's where I finally took, hold on, how can I take these two and intertwine them? And that's when we switched over to the co-living and affordable housing model just about 2 years ago, and it's been full bore to there. And then obviously, this last year in Owners Club, it's took my mindset and just done 360, just made me realize what's possible, and partnered up with amazing people, to make that goal of 4,900 units over the next 5 years very very attainable.
Yeah, Owners Club, shout out Pace Morby for putting it together. And just you joining the, let's call it a mastermind, um, a qualified mentorship, because this is above sub two, which is another community for Pace Morby. Being in that room with all these high level people that are all there to that want to take another step, that want to increase themselves, and people there that are already doing multi-million-dollar deals. It helped you expand your mindset and open up your vision, right?
1,000%. like I said, I mean, when I started there, my 5 year goal was 64 units. So I went from 64 units to 4,900 units. Let's call it 5,000. 64 to 5,000.
Yeah, it's almost 10x. Yeah, awesome.
Incredible. And I'm still now, even now, I'm like, am I selling myself short?
Right. It was great. I think it was in Squad Up. They were talking about the helium, the balloon with helium.
Uh huh.
And a lot of people, we put their mindset that, okay, if you have the balloon with helium and you release it indoors, its maximum height is your ceiling. But if you go outside and let go of the helium balloon, it'll just keep on going.
Continue to
It's
go.
setting its own limits. So don't set yourself those limits.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So that mindset is huge. Huge. I think that comes back to, I mean, it coincides with just with the dream, like you're talking about. Like we set those limits. We set our dreams, you know what I mean? And we shut ourselves down, or we open up and we go chase and achieve them. It's 100% up to us.
Exactly. So before you got into veterans, you said you've been 8 years now in the real estate
Investment
space and
space.
investing. And in
Yep.
2 years, you switched over to veteran because you were tired of chasing the dollar. I guess you were already pretty successful. You were doing flips. Is
Yeah,
that
I was
correct?
doing, yep. So I started wholesaling. I actually learned about wholesaling in prison. That I thought it was a joke. I thought a guy was not a joke, but I was like, I don't know, because I didn't know
You're like,
wholesaling. My
you're like, that's
my
why you're in here in the first place.
that's exactly, that was my thought process. I'll tell that story real quick. But it was a realtor. The guy was a realtor. It was a realtor for 40 years. Ran a huge operation. He was the realtor in San Diego, California. The realtor, the mortgage broker. Everybody knew him, doing hundreds of millions. 962 deals, I believe, in 1 year was the best. So
Wow.
you do the math on that. Yeah, that's the type of business that he was running. Long story short, the crash happened, and obviously the banks couldn't take the hit and all that. There had to be bad guys. So he was one of those guys, because he
Wow.
was doing so much business that, oh, he's the bad guy. But obviously, even though the bank was approving the loans, they
Hmm.
hit him for all those stated income, stated asset loans, all that kind of stuff with mortgage fraud. So he ended up there.
Wow.
But I was like, okay, so what are you gonna do when you get out now? You don't have a real estate license anymore. What are you gonna do? And he was like, well, you can, obviously, there's real estate investing, and there's this thing called wholesale real estate. So he was telling me a story that, how he explained it to me was, well, you say Edgar is selling his house. You guys can write a contract on a napkin that Edgar is going to sell you his house for $250,000, and he's going to sign that, and you're going to submit that to title or escrow company, the attorney, depending where you're at, and that's a legally binding contract. And then you're going to turn around and go find Joe that's willing to buy that house for $270,000, and you're going to sign that contract to him, and you just made $20,000. So he told me this, and I was like you said, I'm in prison. He's mortgage fraud. You just make $20,000 just like that. This guy's full of shit. Excuse my language, but
Yeah, that's
I'm
all
gonna
right.
listen though, because I like the sounds of making $20,000 real quick. So I'm gonna continue to listen, but I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt. So, anyways, he told me that. So okay, so time goes by, and I connect with some of the guys in there that have cell phones that shouldn't be in prison, but I start doing some research on it, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna talk to him about this more, because I'm actually, seems like this actually might be something that actually is going on, and it's not illegal. So actually connected with the guy really well. He's one of my mentors and partners still to this day. In
Awesome.
San Diego, California. Shout out Eric Elagato.
Shout out, Eric.
But because of him, I mean, I'm standing here today. So got out and called a couple of my buddies that I knew that were realtors. I was like, hey, this guy told me about this wholesale real estate stuff, and they were like, yeah, we're doing it. We're making cold calls. I was, you want a list? Absolutely, let's go. So that's where my wholesale career started. And obviously, so I'm wholesaling, making 10, 15, 20K, 30K sometimes on a deal. It was great. And then obviously I'm selling into the flippers. So I was like, hey, this is fun. I'm a hands-on guy. This looks cool. Got into the flipping. So got into flipping, doing great there. But like I said, it got to a point where I was just like, okay, now I'm just chasing money, chasing money. Um, that's where I sat back and I was like, how can I intertwine these two? And about, like I said, 2 years ago, I was like, okay, I can get in. Pace is starting to talk about this co-living stuff. So at that point, I just started the co-living, and I was like bringing in just veterans that I knew and whatnot, stuff like that. And I started reaching out to the VA. Hey, how can I help these guys? And so it started with the VA, and then through the VA, I was able to get connected with other agencies. And then over this past little over a year now with Owners Club, I was able to connect with other people in Owners Club. Stephanie Gibson, shout out to her. She's one of my partners now. She was able to teach me more these little agencies and working with these little agencies and building more relationships there. So, like I said, extremely grateful for all of them. And we're on a mission now. We're on a mission, like I said, 4,900 units over the next 5 years, and in the next 10 years to end veteran homelessness with the help of other people in the community. So anybody, I mean, I'm going to do a shameless plug here. Anybody interested in getting into housing with veterans, whether it's co-living, whether you have small multifamily properties, we'd love to reach out to you guys because we want to expand into other areas. We're in Texas right now, we're in Arizona, and we're in California, but there's veterans, homeless veterans in every state,
Yeah,
every
for sure.
state in this country. So please reach out. We'd love to connect with you guys and figure out how we can end this, like I said, nationwide.
Yeah. No, no, not shameless at all, man. That's what we're here for. That's what I have this podcast here for. So people, they try to get a hold of you. You're busy. You go to a meetup and you have a lot of people that reach out to you. You can send them to here to say, this is what I need. Find this, and then you will be able to get a better,
Love it.
make it work faster to scale it.
Yep. No,
So
I
where
love
can they
it.
find you on your social media or your website?
Social media, guys, you can find me on Instagram at Invest with BM. You can find me on Facebook, Brian Madsen. You can find me my website. What is my website?
Investwithbm.com. I'm looking
Okay,
at it right
I had to
now.
double check that one. It is investwithbm.com. You can get my buy box on there as well, guys. You can see exactly what we're buying here in Texas right now. You can call me on my cell, call me, text me, blow me up, guys. Like Edgar said, it does take me some time sometimes to get back to you, but you can get me on my cell as well at 562-523-5433.
Yeah, if you send a message, don't feel bad that he doesn't respond. It takes time. We get a lot of messages. I was hanging out with him yesterday, and he's got 200 messages on his phone going through it. So he's staying busy. He's doing a good cause. So, but
Yeah.
you can watch this, listen to what else he needs to be able to help other veterans in other states. His information will also be below. Hey, comment, thank him for his service. He signed his life to the government for 4 years, and you have to do what they say. If not, you get dishonorably discharged and you lose a lot of your rights.
Yeah.
And even though he went to prison, it was after he did the service, and now he's learned his lessons. We go up, we go down. That's our life, right? You
No,
fell, you fell
absolutely.
forward, and you get up. So
Absolutely. Everything happens for a reason, guys. I mean, and that's what it took to get me where I'm at right now, because that's where I met Eric. That's where I learned about this thing called wholesale investing, and here we are being able to give back now. So everybody's got a plan. A lot of times we question God on why he does things the way he does, and we don't understand a lot of times, but it's done that way for a reason.
what part of Houston are you in?
So I stay on the west side, but we're doing deals all over Houston.
Okay.
We've actually started working with a few agencies in Fort Bend County as well, so we're starting to go a lot further south as well.
Are there any agencies that you've been trying to get a hold of that you haven't been able to yet?
No, I mean, there's a ton of agencies out there that we're not working with. It's crazy. I mean, you come across so many. I mean, there's some agencies that have little grants from the government because it's people just like us. I mean, that they want to help and they want to give back. So there's little agencies that are run by sometimes one person. We were on a call, Stephanie and I, with a with a lady who is a one woman show. She runs a local agency in Fort Bend County. Actually, that's one of the ones that I'm talking about. But she's a one woman show, so she needs all the help she can get. And we talking with her. She's got 5 families right now that are homeless that we're actually working on at the moment to try and get housed ASAP. But
Okay.
I mean, yeah, there's a ton. Obviously, there's the big ones that I mentioned, obviously, like Salvation Army, people know, and all that stuff. But there's a ton of little agencies, a ton of local agencies that need our help to help other people as well. So
Okay.
they love to talk to you.
Okay, so if we have happened to somebody watching this knows somebody that's in that space that needs help, reach out to Brian, reach out to me. I'm Edgar the Connector. I try to find these people that connect. Owners Club has multiple people that are looking to help out veterans. Brian's just local to me, so I'm reaching out with him. I want to get to that point too. I actually met somebody that in the sober living space wants to help out veterans, and I presented her with two opportunities, but she's gotten sick, so she doesn't think she can handle it right now. So I haven't been able to go to that route. It's another reason I wanted to connect with Brian yourself to see how I can help you out with that and either bring.
Absolutely.
So you have Fractional now. Fractional is an investing website that lets you invest in his deal with a minimum of $5,000. And if this one fills up, he's going to open up another one for the next deal. So
Yeah,
it's
we actually we have another call on Tuesday. Actually, we have a call. So this project, like I said, that we're done. We should be done with that raise. It'll probably be filled up by Tuesday evening. But absolutely, I mean, guys, that we're like I said, we're on a mission to 4,900 units. So yeah, actually, come. You can check it out on Fractional. We'll drop that link hopefully in the in 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 the chat below too. So you guys can check that out as well.
yeah.
We're always looking, like I said, you don't have to be, and I thought the same thing, you had to have a whole bunch of money to invest in real estate, guys. But you don't have to have time. You don't have to have knowledge. It takes, like I said, just we taking investors in as low as 5K. Then they're able to partner with us on these deals and have equity ownership in the deals as well.
Equity and ownership, very nice. And then return of investment. So I don't know if your fractional is the same way. I was watching one that Tracy Koa, shout out Tracy.
Hmm.
She had one recently, and they were doing, if let's say I don't have any money, but I know somebody that does, and they brought in 50,000 to her deal. They were going to give the connector a portion of it. Is
Yeah.
that something with your case as well, or
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we can't get into details here for legalities of
right, right?
reasons. But absolutely, guys, everybody. And that's I say it. You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, like everybody that's involved, everybody, we all eat together, guys. We all win together. So absolutely,
Yeah, no, I just say it so somebody's like, I don't have 5,000, but if you know somebody
one
that's
hundred percent.
retired, they have a 401k. There's trillions of dollars in 401k that's just sitting there. And right now, I took a dump with the way the stuff's going. They
Yep.
can take that money and they can invest it into the good cause. It doesn't have to be just for Brian's. There's many
No,
other
there's a
reasons,
lot of them. Yeah.
but that's just so you can unlock your mind and think. Don't put that ceiling. Don't stop your limit here. Raise your limit. You take off that ceiling and just
Blow
keep on
that ceiling
going.
out. Yep.
Yeah, so that's the reason I mention it. And when you go to Fractional, you can listen to recordings and see how you can fit in and connect somebody else. Or as we mentioned, people that are helping out veterans. The more we have together, the more heads to think about it to solve solutions, the easier and the faster we can help out veterans that are going through a tough time.
Yes, sir. And that's what it's all about. Bottom line, it's, you know what I mean? The investment's great, the returns are great, guys, but most importantly, we call it impact investing. You're again changing people's lives. You're changing people's worlds with these investments. That's, like I said, the most gratifying part. Yes, we got bills to pay. Yes, we got families to support and mouths to feed. But while you're doing that, if you can do that and change somebody else's life, it's incredible feeling.
Yeah,
Incredible. Yeah, last night actually when we were hanging out, it was super cool because we got to meet actually one of our investors that's invested in that project. So it was super cool to see her, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I asked
yeah,
her, and it's the same thing, guys. It's, I mean, there's all kinds of investments out there, but to be able to invest in something that's making an impact, that's changing people's lives, is really what it's all about. Because that's what I asked her. Well, why our project? Because there's a lot of projects out there. Like I said, there's a ton of projects on fractional and from some amazing people. But what those projects are doing is really the big difference. Some of those are again doing the same thing, not taking away from any of those projects. But that was her answer. Is, it's just really what you guys are doing and why you guys are doing it. It's not so much the investment. Again, the investment's great, but it's really why you're doing it and who you're doing it for was her exact reason for why she chose to invest in our projects.
yeah. It's a good cause. It's very noble from the beginning. So talking about feeding your family, this and that. So when people are investing in homes for veterans, I assume a lot of these aren't working at this time. To start off, maybe how does the funding go to the housing? How does somebody get the return of investment? Not like for profit, but just to at least break even with the money they put it into it.
On our particular on our projects ourselves.
And yeah, in general, so like let's say I have a house and I want to rent it out to somebody that
Mhm.
to a cause this way. It's not just like a regular lease, is it? How does that work?
Well, yeah, they're all, honestly they're all structured different. All of our deals they're all a little bit different. So for example, we have one we just completed with another guy in the community, DJ Star. We partnered on one with him. So he brought in 50K into the deal. So we did it. This is a co-living property. He brought in 50K to the deal. We brought the deal. We brought all the sweat equity. We operate the property. We bring the tenants, all that good stuff, and then he gets 50% of the net cash flow. So they're making good cash flow too. Again, because they're at eight. That's an 8 bedroom. So they average on cash flow about 1,800 to 2,000 bucks on a property like that.
Okay,
So he's
that's
bringing
nice.
in, 900 to 1,000 bucks a month net cash flow.
With the properties with veterans, like in sober living, they're considered a protected class because a disability. So
Mhm.
HOA is limited onto what they can limit. Does the veterans have protections that way as well?
So the way the homes we're operating, they do not, because we're not providing services. We're not licensed to provide services or anything like that. The housing is not doesn't fall any under guidelines or anything like that. Under any guidelines or anything like that. So they are not a protected class in these properties for the homes. I mean, and that's
Unfortunately.
why that goes back to exactly. I mean, not to take away again because I'm all about second chances and everything, but exactly, guys that are drug addicts for whatever reason they go into these properties, like I said, exactly, and they have protections. They can't be put out on the street. But guys that went and served our country are sleeping under the bridge or in that tent behind the bushes. It's just it's crazy. It
Yeah,
really is, and that's why it's our job, it's our mission to protect them and make sure again that we have these properties that we can take care of them.
yeah. I asked just so if we have a property, if it
No, no,
has
no.
an
I
HOA.
completely understand. It just made me think again. Like it's so crazy that I mean, there's
Yeah,
protections for all this kinds of stuff. You know what I mean, and welfare and all that stuff. But we have again guys who put their life on the line for this country, sleeping on the sidewalk.
yeah.
It's
I agree. It's
it's mind
you
boggling.
know, yeah, wording and just politics. But I asked
Yeah.
for HOA. If somebody brings a property, if it's an HOA, it's going to be difficult for it to be able to work for that for veteran housing, right?
It's honestly up to the operator. One, yes, there are guidelines on the HOAs. But I'm gonna be flat out and I'm gonna say it on the internet, and I don't care. I have multiple properties in HOAs. Bottom line, it comes down to the operators a lot and how they operate and making sure that they're being respectful of the community, of their neighbors, and all that stuff in the way they operate the properties. Granted, I mean they can't control every single thing, but a big thing with it is parking. That's a huge part of HOAs and not having too many people is it becomes a parking issue. So us when we're operating our properties, we're making sure depending on the size of the rooms, how many rooms we have, how much parking we have, how much street parking is available will only allow a certain amount of tenants with cars in a property.
Yeah,
So yes, we bend the rules sometimes. Even when an HOA says you can't have them, but we do it, and I'll continue to do it, especially to give a veteran a place to lay their head at night. But if you do it, we knock on wood, we've had not one issue. We've not even had any warnings, nothing. Yes, it happens. I know it happens to people. But I think a lot of it comes down to the operator and how respectful they're being of the HOA, of the neighborhood and the neighbors.
yeah, but it doesn't take too much. So my sober living is in the HOA, and we had a situation. Somebody called the fire marshal on us, and the house we had four cars maybe there. Not everybody. We have 11 people, but there's only four cars. A lot of
Mhm.
them don't have vehicles, and we're not sure if there was a person that had a bad attitude, so he was asked to leave, and we think he may have been the one that called.
Yeah.
But the fire marshal showed up, thought we were a boarding house, gave us 72 hours to shut down. And then we got advocates that helped us out. Then we had a town hall and like the neighborhood's throwing a fit. But when they found out what's going on, the rules that are in place, 80% of them were good with it. But again, HOA, when they got the letter saying, hey, they're protected, HOA left us alone. That's why I ask just for people that are thinking about it of how to help out. That if there's an HOA, they have to be super considerate about
Yeah.
the neighbors and not get to complain that it's possible.
No, like you said, it
Yeah.
absolutely happens. It absolutely, you have your cases like that, but um, I mean, I say in this game, I mean, we can't win them all.
Yeah.
We're bound to have some issues with some of them. If we didn't, if it was just that easy, everybody would be doing it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, no, no. A lot of people will say, nope, stay away from HOAs, and I get it. I understand why. I'm just a little less risk adverse, I'd say. So
Yeah. If you have an operator that's done it and knows how to navigate, then you can definitely go around
yeah.
it. So that's
Well,
good to
yeah, I
know.
think it comes down to exactly the type of neighborhood. I mean, exactly. In a sober living, is it a sober living? Is it I mean, a senior home like Bill's doing now, Golden Gal. So if it's a bunch of old ladies, probably not going to get as much hassle from the neighbors or anything like
Attention.
that,
Yeah.
because more than likely, as opposed to us again running a sober living or a bunch of young kids that are running around and being disrespectful and stuff like that. So there's a lot that plays into it. I'm not saying just go anybody to jump into any HOA, even they say it's not okay. By all means, don't do
Brian said it's okay.
that. You're taking I mean, you're taking your chances in anything, but it comes back to just common sense and respect. It goes a long ways.
Okay. When you find housing, is there a certain distance from public transportation or
We
jobs
try,
or VA
not a
center?
specific, not a requirement or anything, but especially like we have some properties way out in Katy where there's no public transportation, so we obviously have to keep that in mind with the type of veteran that we're placing there. I mean, if we're placing somebody with exactly no transportation, no job, no income, disabled, it's probably not a property that we want to place that veteran in. But we have young, I mean, veterans that are able-bodied that are just fell on hard times. They became homeless. They found out that these services were finally available for them, and they just getting back on their feet, and they can call an Uber or whatever. And so it really depends. We have properties that are right on the train, you know what I mean, right on the train downtown.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, we have properties out in Katy that there's no public transportation in sight.
And
So
most of
again,
those
it comes back.
properties,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Sorry. No, I
No,
said
no.
it just comes back to the operator and placing the proper tenant in the proper property.
Yeah. The type of property that you're looking for, or the properties that you picked up, are they fix and flips that you've done? Are they sub two? Are they
All of the above.
okay?
All of the above. So we fix and flip some. We partner with Sam and Advantage Living on fix and flips that some of them will hold and turn them into co-living properties. We got one that we're actually doing a meetup in 2 weeks that we just finished. I think it's May 3rd. That was actually because our active income, we knock foreclosures. So that was actually a foreclosure. So we saved that lady from foreclosure. The house was destroyed. We brought in a private money partner, full gut rehab. We turned that into an 8-bedroom, 3-bath co-living property. So we do stuff like that. Go ahead.
Changing it up a little bit. So going to the foreclosure, I'm asking from another experience. You helped that lady out, right?
Yep.
Was she grateful with what you
Absolutely.
guys? Yeah.
Extremely grateful.
And a lot of people don't understand that the people that are doing it for a good reason. We're helping people out.
We get a
Um,
lot. We get a lot of people. You're preying on people at the worst time
yeah.
in their lives and all that stuff. And that's all perspective. I think that's negative people and people that exactly are doing it just for the dollar. I helped. There was a lady about 3 months ago because, as you know, I mean, here in Houston, we were doing door knocking every other Saturday to teach new guys. So we were out and they actually got to sit there. We got to sit with a lady that, long story short, she got cancer, so couldn't work too much anymore. She owned this property with one of her sons, which they didn't have a good relationship, so he disappeared on her. They fell on hard times. This lady was going into foreclosure for like $9,000, had like 200 grand plus in equity in the house. And like people that make those comments and stuff, I could have very easily manipulated that deal and took advantage of that lady and bought that house and made close to 200 grand. But instead, I said, bro, $9,000. Like, there's no way I'm gonna let this lady lose her house over $9,000. So I told her, look, at worst case scenario, I'll give you guys a loan in second position for $9,000 and bring you current, because she had her other son that came in and said, hey, you know what? Now that I'm aware of this, I'm going to help her. We can move forward. But they had no idea. And all it was a simple call. I actually gave them step-by-step instructions on how to call the bank and ask for a partial claim. Um, so they did that. She was able to save her house. But I say that because exactly guys act like that's what we're doing, is we're just going on preying down these people. No, a lot of times that is their best solution for us to buy their property, which if that's what we're going to do, we're going to do. But if there's another solution where we can absolutely help them stay in their property, we're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Emmanuel Servino, he's also in Owners Club. He had a story where he door knocked and then he went back again, and the lady goes, "Where you been? I've been waiting for you." And then they did the process, and like a month later, he followed, checked up on her, and the husband answered. He goes, "Hey, I want to say thank you because my wife can sleep at night now."
That lady literally had us in tears, literally, because when we left, she said, "You know what?" And this was all through translation. She spoke Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, but this was through her son translating, and it brought him into tears. And he said, "You know what? My mom wanted us to tell you guys," and I'm already getting choked up here. But my mom wanted to tell you guys that, you know what? Last night she was up all night crying and praying to God that what is she gonna do? What does she do from here? And then you guys showed up knocking on the door this morning. You guys gave us this solution. And she said that, because like I said, I was training some of the other new guys. So there was four of us. She said that you guys are her four angels, that she'll forever be very grateful for you guys. And that right there, to me, I'll take that all day long over making 50, 60K on the flip, or on that house that I could have made 200 grand. Her saying that, like I said, is priceless. That's
Yeah.
what we do this for.
Yep.
That is what we do it for right here. And it's just amazing. And I still, it's actually the son texted me back about a month later. Didn't pan out. But the son texted me back later. He said, Brian, I love what you guys are doing. I know you had other guys here that you were teaching with you. I'd love to talk to you about learning what you do to be on your team.
Awesome.
So that right there is just like it's incredible. Like I said, all day long I would take that over that paycheck.
Heck yeah, man. It's such a good feeling to know you can help somebody out that way that's in one of their probably lowest points of their lives.
Like I said, that lady's fighting cancer. She doesn't even be worrying about why she's gonna lose her house over $9,000 that has $200,000 plus in equity. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
We almost lost our house to HOA just because of a bad mailing thing.
Yeah.
But we got that covered, and it's crazy when you get to that point, because then they have the attorney fees, and the attorney fees just jack it up by like triple the price. Don't get me started on that. But okay, door knocking in Houston. Can you use more door knockers?
Absolutely. We love more door knockers in Houston, guys. Even if you want to call foreclosures, guys. I have two VAs. We have fresh data multiple times a day, guys. I have two VAs that are pulling Harris County data multiple times a day. So we've actually, it was about 3 months ago now when we really started using Deal Sauce, and we actually have tested it, which Deal Sauce is the best we found, guys, but their data is still 3 to 4 days old. We have data that is live from today, skipped and ready to go. So anybody that wants to call foreclosures, come knock foreclosures with us in Harris County. We have fresh data daily. So not before everybody else, because there's other people going to the county and getting it too every day.
Yeah.
But fresh, faster than any software that you can get it on. We can get you going to that as well, because there was a little over 800 new foreclosures, guys, filed last month in Harris County alone. So we need all the help we can get, guys. Again, and this is about helping people. It's, yes, again, we make money when we do deals, but it's not about us doing deals. 800 people that need to be knocked, guys. We can only, on average, if somebody's knocking full time, they can only on average knock about 20 doors a day.
And that's if they answer, right?
No, that's if they're not answering.
Yeah.
If you have a conversation and you're doing, you know what I mean, that's only 1 or 2 people probably in that day that you're going to be able to help, guys. And there's only 30 days in a month. So you do the math, 800 new filings, and it's only going to get worse. And like you said, some of these people, this is probably the lowest points in their life, because this is the biggest purchase that these guys, most people make in their entire life, is their home. and they're about to lose it. So you're not going to find a more motivated person to talk to.
They're losing the American dream.
Yep. Yeah.
Going back to door knocking. So one thing about Houston and Texas is their foreclosures is the first Tuesday of every month. So we know with this data, when you go door knocking, that if they're on that list for that Tuesday, the clock is winding down. So something has to happen. Either they're going to lose it, they do their loan modification, they get a loan to pay off what they owe, they sell the house, they file for bankruptcy. There's 7 different options or so that they can do to not lose the house to foreclosure, and reach out to Brian to get some door knocking.
Absolutely.
I'm going to try to go out in 2 weeks. This week I have next week I'm going with Pace for Golden Ticket.
Love it.
So hopefully in 3 weeks, well, yeah, I can go for a little bit before my nephew's birthday, 2-year-old birthday.
Awesome.
So door knocking, foreclosures now, you're picking up properties. You have one property right now that you're flipping, or what's your
Right now
flow?
we have 3 flips going on right now. We just finished that one co-living property that we're holding. We have 3 on market. We have 2 wraps on market right now, and then one that we're just selling traditionally on market right now.
Okay. And then the container homes that you're doing, you have one project going on. Is that considered a
Yeah.
flip, or is that?
You can consider it a flip. There wasn't some existing there, so it wasn't ground up, but it's as close you're going to get to ground up without being ground up. So this guy was an engineer that we actually bought this property from. He placed the containers. He was going to turn it into a single family home. He placed the containers, and the story is that he got bored and too busy with work and just left it. And so it sat there for about 2 years. And it's funny because I drove by it for about a year, just driving by. And container home has actually been my dream to build myself a container home for 20 years.
Wow.
But I drove by that thing, and then finally, about 4 months ago, I started calling the agent, and ended up after about 2 months of negotiating, getting to give it to me seller carry at 5%, 3% for 5 years.
Sweet. So you got in seller finance?
Yeah, we picked up the land.
Nice.
We picked up the land and the containers. So like I said, now we're raising. We've done a little bit of the metal work just out of my own funds, just to get it rain worthy and all that stuff.
Do you need welders?
Now we're raising the fund. Yeah, we're actually, well, yeah, now we're going to need, absolutely, because we're actually, like I said, we're on top of doing those 4,900 units. We're actually going to manufacture those ourselves. So we've got 2 acres in Needville that we're working on putting a factory together to actually manufacture them. So we'll actually be selling them as well.
Oh, sweet. So yeah, I know quite a few welders. I used to work in the refineries, pipe fitting. So
awesome. Yeah.
One fitter, 3
awesome.
fitters.
Yeah, I was an iron worker for a couple of years, so I did a lot of welding myself.
Okay.
Back in California, but yeah,
nice.
I'll definitely probably be getting with you that, because we're gonna need a few good fabricators here fairly soon to run the shop. So
okay, Needville. That's
it's down south,
like 59 South, or
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If you go, just through Sugar Land, all that stuff.
So past Richmond, Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard the name. I think I've passed it. So you're before Wharton or next to Wharton?
South. So it's further south.
Okay.
It's further south of Wharton. But yeah.
Okay. Wharton Community College. Shout out. I went there for a semester.
Yep.
Was it for me? Dude, amazing.
Yeah. So
amazing what you got going
on. Yeah. It's just, and I got to circle back just to the mindset, guys, because this is obviously starts with the dream. I knew as a kid, I was talking to him actually yesterday at the meetup about this, and it's the first time I said it out loud. I was like, wow, that sounds, I don't know, kind of arrogant or sounded kind of weird. But I said, when I was a kid, I knew I was going to do something special, and I thought it was winning the lotto. Because I didn't have any crazy dreams or nothing. I didn't want to be the doctor or the lawyer. I wanted to be a realtor or a construction worker. That was my what I thought I was going to be when I grew up as a kid. But just the mindset, guys, it's I've had that just in the back of my head, and just really I've been chasing it, and I've failed at a lot of things. I've done well, you know what I mean? We haven't touched on when I got out of prison. When I moved to Houston after that, I opened up a couple tattoo shops, and I sold those for almost $1 million.
Wow.
So I've done some successful things, guys, but I've failed a lot too. I mean, I went to prison for God's sakes. You can't fail worse than that. But I've made many of mistakes. But I think the difference here is you get up, you learn from them, and you keep moving forward. You keep chasing that dream.
Well said. It's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you stand up.
Get up and keep moving forward. Absolutely. I mean, you look at all of the ultra successful people in this world. How many times they failed, how many times they filed bankruptcy, how close they were to giving up, how many things they did fail on before that one thing actually worked out. It's incredible. I can't think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Edgar, I can't think of anybody who's ultra successful that said, hey, I just started this and it took off in my first venture and here I am, a multimillionaire or billionaire.
Yep.
Not one.
Our mentor Pace, he lost it all. Jamil lost it all. Hermosi, he lost it all. And Grant, yeah, you can
All of them.
keep on
That's what I'm
going. That
saying. Not
list keeps
one.
on
Even
going.
you get
Yeah.
into the ultra wealthy. I mean, the most rich people in this country have all failed miserably.
Yep.
Or I shouldn't say failed miserably. They lost it all, or been on the verge of losing it all because they didn't fail. They learned from it, and like you said, they got up and kept moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the thing, is not being comfortable and trying something that you're not sure how you're gonna do it, but take take action. Don't wait for perfection, because
Get
there's only one
comfortable
thing.
being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I just took a huge. I practice what I preach on that, guys. Yesterday, actually, at our meetup here, that they announced, obviously, I'm going to be a co-regional leader with Drew, and that accepting that for me when they asked me, um, I had to step way out of my comfort zone, way out of my comfort zone to accept that because it's something brand new. Obviously, I haven't. Now I got to go lead this whole community or this whole region. You know what I mean? A couple hundred people. That's
This is
very
easy,
new to
man. You
me.
got it. Easy for you.
Super easy. But you know what I mean? Just get comfortable being uncomfortable because that's how you grow. When you're comfortable, you become stagnant. That's what makes you grow, and that's what the only reason I said yes is because you know what I said I need to grow. If I want to get bigger, I'm looking to build this ultimate vision and end homelessness in this veterans. I need to grow as a person. So let me go get uncomfortable and do it. So I said yes. But super uncomfortable.
Hey, congratulations on that.
Yep, thank you.
Regional leader for Sub 2. If you want to join the community, we'll have our link below. If you want to join using Brian's link, you go to his contact that will also be below. We do get something if you sign up, but you're going to get a lot more than we're going to get,
You're gonna get
because
a
you're going to be in the
lot more.
community. If you're in the Houston area, you're going to have Brian as your regional leader with Sub 2 Drew. Shout out to Drew.
Yeah,
And
shout out to Drew, guys. Yeah, I mean that guy, he's been here for a year and a half now, and again, because of the regional leaders, and that's one of the reasons I said yes to you because I want to give back. But I wouldn't be where I'm at. You know what I mean? Without the guys that came before me, with Jeff and Regina, and then Drew taking over, I wouldn't be where I'm at by any means. So now it's my turn to give back. And help everybody else get there. Help us all get to the next level.
definitely, Jamil likes to say that the rising tide lifts all boats, and we're trying to make the tide rise.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not doing anything as amazing as you yet, and hopefully I can. Hopefully I can.
You're
I'm
doing it
gonna.
right now. You're doing it right now.
Yep, I get out of my comfort zone to start this podcast, and I'm just gonna stick with it and go with it and chase you down at Sub Two's meetup so I can get you on this.
Sir. I'm
But
bad, guys. Like he said, if you text me or call me, don't take it personal. Blow me up. You're not bothering me. I promise I will answer. I will get back to you. But do
yeah, so
not take it personal if
funny
it's not on
story
the
on that.
first or second or third call or text.
Yeah,
I'm
funny story on
bad,
that.
but I'm being intentional about that. Edgar is going to help me with my calendar and get organized, get a little more organized, so I can so I can be better at that and time block time to do exactly that. Just get back to my messages and stuff like that. So I'm working at that for all of us.
Yeah, man, it's the game changer. Pace
Work
taught
in
us that.
progress.
I didn't think it was a big deal, but once I did it, I was like, wow, this does make a big
Huge
difference.
deal. I'm
But
kind of scared. I'm kind of I'm kind of scared. I know I'm gonna be embarrassed when I do it, especially because I'm so bad at getting back to people. Though, I'm like, man, hold on, I have like 3 hours of wasted time. Probably that. I'm like, that's more than enough time to get back to everybody every day and all of that. So I'm excited for it, obviously, but again, it's just growing, getting uncomfortable, growing, knowing, learning where you're not the greatest, learning to be the best at it you can, and bring somebody else in if you're that bad at it to do it for you. That's what
Yeah.
teams are for.
Yeah. It's not about the how to do something, it's the who
Ooh,
to get to the how. That'll save you so much time. And that's one thing that took me forever to learn, trying to do everything by myself as a solopreneur, but having the how, somebody's done it.
yep,
You can find somebody who's going to teach you. I love teaching. Brian's teaching now, giving this podcast here. We'll have the clone to be able to rehash this over and over for whoever wants to watch it and listen to it again and again. Um, if trying to get you more properties, do you do any leases on them? If somebody gives you a good deal, or is it all stuff that you own?
do we do any leases? What do you mean?
Like if I had a property and I wanted to lease it out to you to help out
Oh,
veterans.
so yeah, so we partner with people, absolutely.
Okay.
Bottom line, when it comes to that stuff, I have properties, guys, where a couple people here actually in Houston, I've had veterans where it's not something that I can fill, but someone else has something, and I literally just place a client. So absolutely, bottom line, it's about getting people in the bed. So if there's a will, there's a way. Absolutely, reach out to me, and we'll figure something out. 100%.
Fantastic.
We don't have any properties that we've done like master leases on where I lease them and then rent them out. But I mean, like I said, if there's a will, there's a way. If you have a property and it's not performing or is performing and you just want to do this instead, I'd love to chat with you for sure. Because the
If
bottom
there's
line, it's about getting these veterans off the streets. Right now, there's about 1,200 homeless veterans in Houston and the surrounding areas right now.
wow, 1,200. Wow.
1,200. So I need all the help I can get.
If I get a property that I can lease out to you, do you want it furnished or no? Does it
It,
matter or
it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, if it's something that you don't have furnished, we can furnish it. Or depending on what program some of the veterans are coming on, those agencies will actually pay for furniture as well on some of those programs. So it really just depends. That's what a lot of people ask in when I was learning about it, I was like, exactly, like it doesn't make sense, but there's so many different programs, so many different funding sources, so many different agencies that it's hard to say, hey, this is the way that it operates because I can tell you one thing and then we get one veteran coming from this agency and funding coming from this agency and then things going to be a completely opposite.
okay?
So it's really we kind of work backwards. We figure out, okay, here's the need. Now let me solve that problem. Like I said, we had a call last week, like I said, with that lady in Fort Bend County that has an agency with those 5 veterans. So we don't rather than saying, hey, here's a property, now let me go find tenants. We already have the tenants waiting. We're at a point where we have to go find the solutions, find the properties to solve those problems. Some of them single, some of them with kids. It's just all different. So we're constantly getting different scenarios thrown at us. So there's not a catch-all solution. It's constantly changing. So we're willing and open. If you're willing and opening and have a property, we'll figure out how. Most importantly, one, to get that veteran housed, but two, to make it a win for everybody.
Okay, I'm curious. So just have an idea because I have the Airbnb that we run. Preferably the housing you probably want long term, but could you use housing for like when Airbnb isn't busy, like a Monday to Thursday?
So like daily, no.
Okay,
Yeah, it'd be minimum like 30 days.
okay. I was just curious because there's the property's empty, and if we
Yeah,
can get it you at like a super cheap rate for 4 days out of the week, and then have the filling just to use the housing
yeah.
that's there.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about stuff like that before with agencies and whatnot. The problem there becomes, again, we want to do good, but at the same time, we've got to protect ourselves. So if it's someone that needs to something very, very temporary, we don't want to bring them in and something happen to a property or something like that, or something where they become a squatter or something like that.
Right.
Um, so we've got to find that happy medium of, what I mean, making sure these people are taken care of, but at the same time protecting the investor as well.
Yeah, understood. Just thinking of things outside
No,
the box if
absolutely
somebody's
not.
watching this
Yeah,
thinking
it's a
this.
great idea.
So you have operators. What is you probably need more operators. I know that's one thing with suburban living. Operators are hard to find.
Yep.
What type of person do you need to become an operator? What do they need to? What kind of person, I guess, or what
Really, I mean,
daily?
the one main thing there is going to be the person that's doing it for the why, not for the what. Someone that really truly cares about taking care of these veterans, you know what I mean, and getting them off the streets, because it's just like anything else. When we give, we get. Um, so that giving or that making sure that the veteran taken care of is our main priority. Because we have worked with a few people where unfortunately it didn't pan out because they were there for the why, the paycheck. So it ended up not working out. Bottom line, they need to really understand and be in this because it's a lot of work too. It's for lack of better terms, I'm going to say it, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody because I love it and I love doing it. But there's a lot more babysitting in the operations side with this type of tenant, and you're probably familiar in the sober living space as well.
Yeah,
It's not just a tenant where you're going to put them in, okay, here's your rent, and that's it, and you're going to get your rent on time and no issues. There's a lot more follow up, making sure that everything's okay, if you can do anything, and stuff like that. And you got to want to help these guys. I mean, like we talked about Chino earlier. We learned a lot. You know, what I mean, I remember there's a video of him literally just taking the time to show a guy how to make his bed, stuff
wow,
like that. It's someone that's willing to put in that extra time to show these people because a lot of them they're lost. They didn't have that. They're lost. Whatever it is. But there's a lot more on the service side that comes in. So you need to really want to help. It is the biggest key when we're looking for other operators to partner with. That's the biggest factor is doing it for the cause, not for
yeah,
the paycheck.
being selfless,
Yes, sir.
wanting to help. As an operator, do they live on the property as well?
So they can absolutely. Mine. I have four properties or four rooms in my personal property that I have rented out. So you absolutely can. Again, you need to be selfless. But at the same time, again, you've got to protect yourself as well.
Yeah,
With these tenants, especially, I don't have any young ones at home anymore. So for me, it's okay, but obviously you've got to protect yourself and your family as well. So you can absolutely, if you're single and you know what I mean, you have an empty house, you're an empty nester, and you want to serve, by all means, let's connect. And that's amazing. Like I said, because a lot of these guys, that's all they want is, I mean, someone just to come. I mean, I just lost a tenant actually. It made me actually sad. But with this guy, he was a 70-something-year-old veteran
wow,
that got kicked out of a shelter. I ended up meeting him, and the same thing. He said, "You know what? Thanks by the grace of God, I met you, Brian, and I'm here." But I actually loved going to that property just to sit there and chit chat with him and BS because it lit up his day. He was so blessed. He was so thankful that you know what I mean that he was there, and just chatting with him about we would just chat about dogs, you know what I mean? The dogs, because he would feed the dogs, you know what I mean? The stray dogs and whatnot and
yeah,
stuff like that. But it just put a smile on his face and he was so grateful. So again, it's really just about, I mean, giving back and really wanting to serve because that's a lot of these guys, that's all they need. So if you're, like I said, an empty nester and you've got the room in a house or a property, I would, like I said, love to connect with those people that are willing to do that.
okay, that'll be yeah. So if you're living by yourself and you got extra rooms, awesome veterans. But as besides that, the operators that do come on board with you, is it like a 40-hour week job? Is it a 24-hour, 24/7? What is it usually? What are their expectations when somebody's looking at this to get an idea of how they
It's
can help?
really gonna it's really gonna depend where they're at, the agencies, the locality to help and all that stuff. If it's someone here local in Houston, it's obviously gonna be a lot less work. I have a ton of resources here already, agencies to what I mean to get the tenants to fill the properties, all of that good stuff. It'd be a lot less. But if what I mean it's someone, let's just say Oklahoma, what I mean that has a property where we're gonna have to go out there, we're gonna have to show them how to go, what I mean, build the relationships with these agencies to get the tenant and all that stuff. It's obviously going to be a lot more in depth and time consuming process. But I mean, once they're up and running, it's I would say realistically, you know what I mean. If you're just running a couple properties, 5 6 hours a week,
Okay. So
just
it's it
spending that time because it's more of just again showing your face and again having that conversation. Hey, how are you? Anything we can do for you? It's that kind of stuff. So it's nothing in depth once it's established. You know, what I mean, the work obviously to get there is much more time consuming. But that's where we can absolutely bring value to that deal and help you guys do that.
okay. Yeah, very good
Run
to know. I'm just my experience with operators for sober living is a lot more hands on. That's
Yeah,
what I was
so
asking.
sober living is a lot more on the service end of things and
Yeah.
services side of things. Yeah, so this is it's co-living, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's rentals, it's co-living. We just have a niche client, I guess you would call it. But yeah, there's not a lot of services. Like I said, I like to do that, but still, I mean, it's only a couple hours a week of my time on that, just there with those guys chit-chatting and whatnot. And yeah, it's not like soberly, and it's not that time intensive or anything like that.
Okay. So you can
Once
have
they're
one
established.
operator. You can have one operator running multiple houses then. Okay.
Oh yeah,
That's good.
absolutely.
And then do you take donations? I know Chino takes like sleeping bags and socks. Do you take any donations for veterans?
We don't. We do like when there's like the last freeze we did actually. We did the same thing. You know, I mean, we're out giving out. We don't do that on a regular basis. Like Chino, it's actually something we want to get more involved in the outreach because again, the problem is so huge and there's not a lot of people doing it. So I'd love if anybody wants to connect, you know what I mean, and kind of help lead that up and organize that. That would be huge. I think maybe that's something we do as a community. You know what I mean? Maybe we do a meetup and do that
Yeah.
or something. That would actually be really cool. Um, but yeah, not at the moment. We don't.
Okay. Well, I was wondering too. Also, when you let's say you get this house flipped and you're ready to fill it up, do you can you take donations as a furniture like mattresses, beds, stuff
Absolutely.
like that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And they reach out to you directly, or do you
Yeah.
prefer them to go to like Salvation Army?
Nope. They reach out to me directly.
Okay.
So yeah,
Great.
Salvation Army and those type of things, they don't give us any furniture per se. Like I said, when if they place a veteran and that veteran was 100% homeless and doesn't have anything, they'll send us a bed and stuff like that. If we already have them, if we don't have them, majority of the time we already have them. So basically, what we do is we take it, and then once we build out the next house, we just put it in the next house. They give beds and stuff like that. So I mean, if that was something like where we were doing, you know, I mean, the common area stuff, the kitchen tables, kitchen stuff, pots and pans, stuff like that for the common areas would be a lot more helpful.
Okay. Yeah, pots and pans, common areas, living room,
Microwave,
kitchens.
yeah,
Okay.
stuff like that. Like I said, because they do give us beds and whatnot for them when they are come off the street when they actually are 100% homeless.
Okay. Good to know. And just hopefully people that listen to this, we can reach out and send it. This is going to get chopped up too, and we'll send little snippets to hopefully get some people to send stuff your way. I
Amazing.
saw your fractional link is on your Instagram. So if you want to invest that way on his Instagram, invest with Brian, invest with BM,
Yes, sir.
go there to see that. So right now you're looking for more properties as well. So any wholesale deals that somebody sends you, you have your buy box, so we'll send them to your buy box. You buy creative deals as well. Leasing is a case by case basis.
These things case by case basis, yeah. But I mean, other than that, anything 1,500 square foot or bigger, we want to look at it because, like I said, we've got all kinds of needs from, like I said, studios, co livings, up to we're starting to look into smaller multifamily stuff as well. I was actually talking to Lure about that earlier because, again, just the need is incredible. We're having to put way too many people on waiting lists or no for now, as we call it.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
What about somebody that has an empty lot that is has city water or city sewage?
Yes, yes. That's we're actually starting. We're putting together actually a buy box because we're gonna start buying that stuff up because that's where we're gonna be placing our container homes.
Okay, yeah, that'd be fantastic. Is there a minimum size?
No, there is not. I mean, like the one that we're doing in that the 9 unit on right now, that's only a 5,000 square foot lot.
Okay.
So that's the good thing. I mean, they're square, they're rectangle. We stack them, so it's we can do a lot with a little.
Do you have one complete, a container store? I mean, the container store.
Not. We only have singles done. We don't have. This will be the first multi-unit that we've done.
Okay. And pictures of that is on your Instagram? I don't see it on your website, so I'm asking.
The of the
Container.
project, it's on the fractional page.
Okay.
It's in the fractional community, so they can go see, yeah, all of that, what's going on there.
Cool.
And then, yeah, reach out to. I mean, if you have any more questions on this stuff, people normally have a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of them here. Because I
Yeah,
have I have to check. There was a lead of a nice sized lot that had like some smaller houses, and it's like, oh, we can put some ADUs on there.
yeah,
But if we can get it on seller finance and then provide it to you to put container homes on there, that'd be freaking great.
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, my mom has land in Sealy. She got an acre she lives on, but I'm pretty sure she'd be cool putting like one container property there, and
Yeah,
because I mean she lost a son in it, so she's super into providing for veterans.
yeah,
Um,
that would be amazing.
yeah, dude. Okay, so things you can use is either money through fractional. These aren't donations. This is investing. You're going to get money back.
This is investing,
If
guys. You get money back, and in a lot of the majority of the deals, we actually we give equity in the properties as well.
yeah, so
So you're
I
not
mean,
just
if
being a
you
lender, you're owning again, just with most importantly making that huge impact.
yeah, so nobody's asking for donations. I mean, I don't even know if you accept donations, but if you're going to put money in, I guess if it's only like $100 or less than 5,000, less than 1,000, then donations would be good. Do you prefer a place they donate it to, like Wounded Warrior or Salvation Army, or do you have a fund that you're gonna start?
Find a local veteran. That's what I would say. You guys want to give donations? Find a local veteran. You that would be incredible. You have no idea walking up to somebody. You know what I mean? And like I said, it doesn't even have to be $1,000. Walk up to these guys that do it and give them $100. Like they light up like a Christmas tree, guys, because you know what I mean. They don't have much and there's no hope.
I love
So
that. I love that
that's
because
our job to give them that hope, that second
yeah,
chance. You know, that there's a light at the end of that tunnel.
dude, that's such a good reason too. Because if you think about a nonprofit like the Wounded Warrior, I mean, I've given money to them, but
Yeah,
once you learn more about it, only like 10, 15, maybe 20% of what you give goes to the cause. The rest goes to pay for the overhead. If you give it
salaries and
to
marketing and buildings and yeah,
Yeah, if you give it to a veteran, 100% they're going to use it.
yep.
Um, so that'll be great. And then if you have more, you invest it, you're going to get money back for doing that. And then
Which
when
allows
you
you
get
to
that
give
money
some
back,
more.
if you yeah, if you don't want to keep that money, you just invest it again.
Yep,
So you're going to get more to invest again.
yep.
So it's a cycle that's just going to keep on going, and you're going to help so many lives. Again, it's not about
It
changing
compounds real quick
the whole world; it's changing one person's world.
at a time.
Yep, yep.
And
I
exactly, I
love
mean,
it,
even
man.
if a lot of people don't realize exactly, even when you change one person's world, they're going to go and talk to other people about it, which is going to change those people's world. So people don't understand that compounding effect that it truly has.
Yeah. Going back a little bit, you said 2 years ago you started this with the veterans. Is that right when you started Sub Two? Before? After?
So that was after I started Sub 2. Like I said, I was just buying deals at first, with no why, with no purpose. It's okay. What can I do? Can I wholesale this? Can I flip it? Can I had all, like I said, all the phone was done. Short term rentals, long term rentals, all of it. I was lending. I've done it all, but again, it was just for a dollar. There, I couldn't figure out why I wasn't happy because I had plenty of money. Okay, I'm gonna go get more money. I'm gonna go get more money, and wasn't doing the trick until I finally figured out, hold on, like I can do something with this money.
Yeah.
And like you said, so I started literally just walking into the VA. Who can I talk to? Who can I talk to? Who can I talk to? And
And then, yeah, being in the Sub Two community, it's such a go giver community that shows you about helping out others, and it just comes back to you to help out more people, and that's just
tool.
such a good cause, such a good community. If you have a deal, his email to send him a deal is deals@breakthechainsgroup.com. So you can invest with money. If you have time, you can do door knocking to help with get these properties. Code calling, he'll teach you the ways to do that. If you can donate bags, no, sleeping bags, excuse me, socks, new socks, please. um, and then if you see a lot somewhere that's empty and could use some storage, some container homes, then there's so many different things that you probably pass by every day that could help somebody out, and you can probably make something off of it to help yourself out as well. So you can be greedy by helping other people.
The other thing, guys, exactly. I mean, one thing, like we talked about earlier, is guys, take that time to stop. Please take that time to stop. If you have it, by any means, make the time to stop and tell that veteran, hello, how are you? Thank you. That alone will go a long way. So please, if nothing else, take that time, because that time doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah, very well said. Are you looking to add anybody else to your team
Always.
besides the door knocking and the?
All so not besides door knocking, cold calling at this time. We just brought on Gloria. Actually, she's helping. It's going to help us on the property management side as well now. So if you guys have ideas, by all means, reach out where you feel you can bring value. We're still organizing on the growth side, so trying to get that all together. It's a learning curve. So if you think you can bring value some way, please reach out. We'd love to chat and hear what you have to say and how you think that'll help the organization or what value you can bring. I'd love to chat with you. Something we're not the best at. We're good at going out and helping people and providing solutions that way. But on the back end, we're still we're working on the organization as a whole.
Okay, I'll see if I can donate some time to help you out with that, buddy.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, we'll schedule something offline here.
Like I
And if
say, I
you're,
can start with that calendar.
yeah, and I'll see where I can fit my time in to help you out, man. That'd be great. If you're doing this something like this in another city and you already have a good process going, please reach out to Brian, and or if you need help to do it, Brian's gonna be he'll take the time to teach you, and he'll probably start doing recordings of this so he can share it to other people and help spread his word and his methods and processes to get better at it and have other people scale up faster. Remember, it's not just the how, but the who to get to your how.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. We're not going to be able to conquer this problem alone.
Yeah, man, amazing. Thank you so much. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you so much. I appreciate your service. I appreciate the noble things you're doing, man. And just looking forward to help you out a little bit here.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Um, any advice for somebody that wants to start, just
Just do
in
it.
general,
Start.
entrepreneur?
You said it. Just start.
There you
I'm,
go.
I am the king of imperfect action, guys. I've gotten here. I'm living proof that that's all you need to do is start, because I've made all the mistakes, guys. Like I said, I 2013 I went to prison. I got out of prison in 2017, guys, with nothing but the clothes on my back and a will to change. So just start. I don't have any better advice than that. I can't elaborate on it. Whatever it is, go make those mistakes, because that's the easiest way to learn, is not make huge mistakes and end up in prison like me. But in business, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, if you're looking to get into real estate, whether it's cold calling, whatever it is, knocking doors, go get hung up on say that wrong thing. Go knock on that door and say that wrong thing at the door, so you can get the door slammed in your face to learn from it and get it out of the way, and you can start to grow and prosper from there. But just start. That's how you start, by starting.
One thing that to add to that. So when you do go knock on that door and you get your door slammed on your face, you tell your buddy around the corner, "Hey, don't tell her this." So then you just taught somebody, you got better
Yeah.
at it, and they'll be better
He
because
might
you're gonna.
remember. He might
Yeah,
remember that you told him that. But I promise you, when he goes and does it, he's gonna remember, and that's the point of that. Is that's
exactly,
the fastest way you're gonna learn.
exactly. Hearing it and living it, two totally different memory standards
Yeah,
there.
and write it
Um,
down. Write it down.
going back a little bit to when you started wholesaling.
Okay.
So how did you start that? What did you got out of prison and then you went straight to wholesaling because you had that
I had
the
yeah,
who
I knew already about it, so I called my buddy who was a realtor, and he was like, "Yeah, we're actually cold calling. Um, I got lists if you want to call." So I said, "Let's do it." And I started asking questions. Well, what about this and what about that? And it was the best advice I can get, and it's what Pace tells us. Who cares? Don't worry about that. Take that first step first. Don't worry about B. Don't worry about how to fill out the contract or what contract you need or what paperwork. Go get somebody that's even interested in signing an agreement first before you worry about what you need to do. Um, and luckily for me, that's how I've operated anyways my whole life. There's good parts and bad parts to that. Um, but just go do it. Worry about B when you get there. Let's conquer A first.
Yeah,
So he told me go make the calls. When you got somebody who's interested, tell them all right. You're gonna set an appointment, and then we'll call them back.
fantastic. How long did it take you before you got your first deal?
I actually had my first deal in about 3 weeks closed. So
Freaking
it
awesome.
was freaking amazing. Like I said, I immediately started making money, which was freaking amazing. But that's just by doing the reps.
Yeah.
I
Do
didn't
you
get
remember how
lucky.
many calls you were
I didn't.
making a day?
I'd be lying. I don't. A couple hundred at least. I was
Wow.
I was banging them out. Like I said, I was doing the reps, guys. I didn't get lucky. I was doing the reps.
Yeah. The one reason I ask is people say, I've been doing it for 3 weeks. Okay, but you've been calling, what, 5 people a day for three
Yeah.
weeks? Or are you calling hundreds a day like Brian was that he got his deal
Yep.
in 3 weeks? So it's not about the time that you're doing it. It's about how many of that same action you're repeating to
Yep.
get to that point.
Yep.
Cool, man. Hey,
So
dude, I appreciate you so much. Um, is there anything you want to share that maybe I forgot to ask? Do you think we got it all covered?
I think we got it covered for now. I'm sure we'll have to regroup. We
Awesome.
got lots coming. I'm glad we finally connected. Um, like I said, we're gonna do big things and put Houston on the map. We're a huge community here, and we need to get loud.
Yeah, we got a lot
You
more
guys are
owners
gonna
clubs.
start hearing about Houston
Yeah, I
quite a
love it.
bit.
We're gonna have Pace and Jamil come more often.
Absolutely.
He's gonna have to put up with the humidity. I know he hates it, but he's gonna come for a good cause.
Yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Hey, y'all
Thank you
leave.
for having me, Edgar. I appreciate it, brother.
Yes,
I
sir.
truly appreciate it. Thank you for your follow up and your consistency on getting me here, on getting me to return those phone calls, those text messages. I really appreciate it. And that even teaches me, guys. It's shown me that I need to get better. Some stuff that I need to get better at, and I need to be more intentional on fixing my calendar. So thank you.
Man, it was nothing, dude. Please drop a comment, man. Tell him thank you for his service. Pray for the people that are out there still serving. Pray for the ones that aren't here anymore. Just give them a moment of silence and thank you for all they gave. Uh, Amen. And dude, drop a like, please. And you know how to reach us. And hopefully we can get this funded for him and we can blow his goal 4,900 out the water.
The water. Let's go. I love
Let's
it.
go.
Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
Peace
Thank
out.
you for having me, Edgar.
Community. Yeah.
We'll see you
Sub
guys.
two. Yep. Thank you. Catch this next podcast where you can start your dreams and start to own your time the way these other guests have.